Hi guys, it's Stephanie. It is Tuesday, February 8th. Yes, it is. Today is a bitter cold day. It's raining outside and the temperatures have dipped. But guess what? It feels real good. So, I had a great day today on my job. While I was at work, I was craving pizza. So I stopped at a restaurant, ordered my pizza, and did a takeout, along with a nice Greek salad and my favorite watermelon drink. So what's happening today? Today, I'm finding out that the Biden administration has issued a transgender offender manual, which directs federal prisons to give special accommodations and taxpayer-funded services to certain convicts serving sentences in jail throughout the nation. Wow, that is big. And of course, you can bet your bottom dollar that the conservatives are steaming over this. They're steaming over this. So before I continue on this issue, I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers who have been with me since last year and continue to support me through this year. If you're a new visitor and you're just checking out my videos for the first time, if you find that video that resonates with you, then please consider to subscribe to my channel. But if you do, hit that top bell so you get future notifications of all my uploads. Talk to you guys soon. So this report came out on the Judicial Watch, on the Corruption Chronicle segment, dated February 1st of 2002. So the heading says, Transgender Offender Manual orders prisons to offer special services and bans misgendering. What does that mean? That's because up until now, transgender inmates have been treated improperly, disrespectfully, and also if they were incarcerated when they were in the middle of their transition or in the beginning of their transition, they cannot be misgendered. If they're saying that they're males in the wrong body, then they have to be viewed as such, and then they have to be in the female population prisons and not in the male prisons. And the prison guards have to show them respect also by calling them with the proper pronouns. Even if they went to prison and they had no legal name change. And basically, they're going to receive all health care that trans people in society are getting. Everything through the taxpayer. I'm on the fence about all this, but who am I? I'm on the fence only because I am a law-abiding, hard-working citizen that's been working since the age of 16. There were times I was working three jobs, and getting by with a less of sleep at that time. Grueling, with no days off for many, many years, so I can get the proper care and the proper surgeries I saw fit that I needed for my transitions. Now you have these public offenders or lawbreakers. I don't know if they're murderers or not, but they're getting everything that I worked hard for free, and they went to jail. Don't we go to jail so we can learn a lesson because we broke the law, or we offended someone, maybe stole somebody's property, or we hurt someone, assaulted? Tell me, shouldn't I be on the fence about that? Should I feel sorry for them because they're transgender like me? But in a big view, I'm not like them because I'm not a criminal. So the Biden administration has issued a transgender offender manual. The Department of Justice issued a new guidelines a few weeks ago to ensure that the Bureau of Prisons properly identifies, tracks, and provides services to the transgender population. The Bureau of Prisons houses some 155,554 inmates at 122 facilities around the U.S., and the agency estimates that approximately out of that 155,000 people or inmates are 1,300 transgender inmates. I would assume that maybe there's a certain percentage that's going to be female to male and male to female. I would say there are more male to female than there are male to female. I say that because in society it's the same way. Now, the objective of the new manual is to provide guidance to staff in dealing with the unique issues that arise when working with transgender inmates. According to the recently issued 14-page rulebook, the administration also wants to make sure transgender inmates can access programs and services that meet their needs and that sufficient resources are allocated to deliver those special services. That the proper funds are allocated for these special programs and special services to assist the transgender population in prisons. What are the services and what are the programs? Some of the programs might be because we don't know if these inmates are going to be lifers or they have set dates to be released. I can bet you that some of the programs would be like a career-oriented thing where they can learn new trades or even get some form of education while they're in prison. As transgender, the services that they get is going to be their health services. Like, for example, they will get HRT, hormone replacement therapy. They'll also get psychologically evaluations, just as any transgender would get in society. Like, I had to go through at least 3 months of psychotherapy and also see a psychologist, and then also do monthly support group meetings before I can begin my HRT. Okay? To fulfill the task, a transgender executive, or the TEC, consisting of senior staff members from the psychology, health services, and other BOP divisions, has been created to serve as the official decision-making body on all issues affecting transgender inmates. all issues. It will meet once a month to offer advice and guidance on unique measures related to treatment and management needs of transgender inmates. Now, let's say, for example, an inmate's legal name before going to prison was Robert, okay? But it's Robert because he went in before he had a chance to do his legal name change, okay? But this person, or this transgender person, broke the law, okay? So what was happening was the prison officials and possibly the police departments were mishandling the situation with transgender people, mispronouncing them, they were going by what their licenses were saying as the gender. Their gender markers were never changed. So with this new handbook, once they get in the prison system, it's completely flopped. And also, I would say that while they're in prison, they will get a legal name change, which will result in their transferring from the male population into the female population, which they will begin their transition there and all their health care needs. And then when that's probably done, they'll start getting some kind of educational courses, whatever they choose. It's like going to college and jail. When they get out, they're a totally new gender, they have a degree, and they can go right into the workplace. Wow. If I had known this, I would have just became a criminal. I worked 3 jobs for a long time so I can pay for my transition. This is why I'm on the fence. Is this fair? I'm 50-50 because I don't agree everything that Republicans say, but I don't agree with everything that Democrats say. Okay? The panel will also study factors such as the inmate security level, criminal behavior, current gender expression, vulnerability to sexual victimization, and likelihood of perpetrating abuse. The TEC, which is the Transgender Executive Council, will consider the well-being of all inmates while exploring appropriate options available to assist with mitigating risk to the inmate. To include, but not limited to, cell and/or unit assignments, application of management variables, programming missions of the facility, and security of the institution, the manual states. Wow. Under the new guidelines, the Bureau of Prisons staff interacting with transgender inmates must use the authorized gender-neutral communication with inmates or the pronouns associated with the inmate's identifying gender. That's what I just said, even before I even got down to this letter. Yes, deliberately and repeatedly misgendering an inmate is not permitted. This means that these inmates will be treated so much more like the gender they feel they are than most transgender people are in society. Okay? That means that I have a greater chance, if I'm around ignorant people, to be purposely misgendered by maybe someone who is transphobic. Okay? Housing and program assignments must seriously consider a transgender or intersex inmate's own views, and transgender inmates shall be given the opportunity to shower separate from other inmates. The initial screening codes to document a likely transgender identity are listed as: inmate should be screened for male to female, transgender indication, and inmate should be screened for female to male transgender identification, vice versa. The federal prison system will also provide transgender convicts with gender-affirming hormone therapy and medical treatment, as well as surgery for those in the final state of the transition process. So, the law is now saying that this is a full spectrum assistance by all prisons at all levels. Because up until now, the transgender population in jail have not been treated with respect. If I continue to read this, at some point, it's going to say, I haven't gotten there yet, but it's probably going to say that there will be prosecution to the full extent of the law when a transgender, no matter male to female or female to male, is being harassed or bullied by the cisgender population in jail. This encompasses all that. All that. They're getting a full protection while they're in prison. So, in the event this treatment changes the inmate's appearance to the extent a new identification card is needed, the inmate will not be charged for the identification card as is standard practice. I also said that before I read this. As they go through their transition and they are physically and characteristically seen as female physically because of the hormonal changes that occur physiologically, they will receive new IDs and badges accordingly, just as I would in society. Okay, that means that all their documents will match their new gender. Photograph, the social security card when they get out of jail, and also when they leave, they'll be able to get a new driver's license with their new documents and their birth certificates that'll be given to them. This is so unprecedented. The conservatives are reeling on this because they were so against it. Like I said, I am 50-50 impartial to this only because they broke the law. They're criminals and they're in jail and they're getting all this for free. Okay? And I had to go to work to get all this. Okay? And now in society, sometimes a trans person will get misgendered on purpose by other employees on their jobs, out having a good time with their friends. There are trans people today being murdered and harassed, and a lot of them can't even get a good job. But yet, a criminal that's a trans person will go to prison and get everything under the sun. For those unfamiliar with terms associated with transgenderism, the government document offers some helpful definitions in the new rulebook. It defines gender as a construct used to classify a person as male, female, both, or neither. That means neither means non-binary. Gender encompasses the aspects of social identity, psychological identity, and human behavior. According to the definition, gender identity, on the other hand, is defined as a person's sense of their own gender, which is communicated to others by their gender expression. Which brings us to gender expression, which includes mannerisms, clothing, hairstyle, and choice of activities. Okay? Gender nonconforming is a person whose appearance or manner does not conform to traditional society gender expectations. Transgender is a state of one's gender identity not matching one's assigned sex at birth. We all know this already. I'm going to skip this. So basically, guys, this information I pulled up on the Judicial Watch Corruption Chronicles. This is a report put out by a conservative watch person. I am non-political. I am not a conservative. I am not a liberal. Like I said, I'm very impartial to this. I am for and against it. Okay? I'm against it because they broke the law. In my belief, when someone breaks the law, they don't go to prison and get treated like so much more better than they would have gotten treated in society. Okay? There are trans people in society who are hardworking, and some of these people will never finish or even have the money to begin their transition. How is that fair? Okay? I think it should be depending on the level of crime they've committed, and I think there is a portion here that says that. The level of crime behavior. I don't think a murderer qualifies for this. I think small petty, I think a misdemeanor, but a lot of times a misdemeanor will not get you prison time unless you're a repeat offender. I don't think a rapist falls under this category. I just don't know the whole story yet. This only tells you the broad spectrum of which trans people in jail will be treated more humanely. That's all that's telling me. Okay? And this is something that conservatives are totally against. Totally against. Why should they pay? Why should I pay for their care when we have other trans people in society who are not getting the care? Okay? I don't know. I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I disagree. But I'm on the fence with this. If you guys want to give me your take on this, let me hear your opinions on this. Because right now, a part of this country is reeling about this. Okay? My transition's been done years ago. I've been transitioned now 20 years. And 20 years ago, this was not easy. And it's still not easy today. We still have a long ways to go. But at least a trans person who hasn't committed the most heinous crime will be treated like a human being while they're in jail. They're not going to be attacked by other inmates. They're going to be respected by the guards. They're going to get their HRT. They're going to get their psychological evaluation. By the time they're out of there, they would have had their legal name change. They would have their new driver's license with their proper gender marker on there. All that's going to be done for them. It's unprecedented. This country now has become one of the most accepting for the trans people in the LGBTQ community. I don't know, the only thing that's great for trans people is that. But there's many states still left in the United States that's unaccepting. And they're mostly conservative states. Most countries support fully their LGBTQ communities and their transgender communities for many, many, many years. We're still behind in that sense. But the prisons here have more rights now for the LGBT community than free people. That I don't understand. I hope you guys have a nice day. Write me something. I'm so interested to hear what you think. You guys have a great night. Guys, that concludes this evening's film.
on the wall.